you join us here on our way to pick up the next Lemon to Lambo car. And if you've probably seen the thumbnail, you've read the title, you'll know that we have managed to score ourselves a Nissan Skyline. So you have seen the thumbnail, you've read the title, you've also seen a little short piece of us picking up this absolute beast of a car. If you haven't pieced it together yet, Morgan and I have managed to pick ourselves up this, I think it's 1994, it's a Series 1 R33 Nissan Skyline GTST. For those of you who know the Skylines, you'll know that that means this is turboed, which is big tick. And it is also a manual, which is another big tick. And to give it 3 ticks, it is also a coupe. So we've got all the 3 hallmarks of an awesome Skyline. Now obviously this is not a GTR, that's a whole nother echelon of cars that hopefully we'll be able to jump into in the near future. But this R33, you're probably wondering why we're starting the video off here and not with some nice cinematic shots out in a nice field somewhere. And that is because this car currently doesn't start, and if you jump start it, it doesn't really run. Now you're probably thinking, are you guys crazy? Yes, I was the one that looked at the car, Morgan wasn't with me. Maybe I've made a bad decision. But also if you're wondering why Morgan isn't sitting here beside me, he is currently behind the camera. He is not feeling that great and currently has lost his voice, which is very hilarious when he's trying to talk, but we thought it would annoy you for the majority of the video. So what we'll do is we'll go around the Skyline as best as we can while it sits here in the garage. We'll go through the exterior, the interior, the engine bay. There's a few little goodies there that we can show you and some surprises. And then yeah, that's about all we can do. We can't do an underbody inspection just because we can't drive to the place where we normally chuck it up on the lift. When we are able to drive the car, we will be doing that. So don't worry, you will get an underbody inspection of this car. But yeah, sit back and relax. We'll tell you all about our mighty, mighty R33 Skyline. Okay, you join me here in my lovely garage, my beast of a mower, to have a look and go over the Skyline. Here is Morgan, who can't talk right now. It's so hilarious. So our Nissan Skyline R33, here it is here. Now I know the first thing you guys are gonna say is, what the hell are those? Yeah, these are some big boy wheels. I think what's gonna happen is we are going to take these off and try and sell them, but probably look at putting some different wheels on, because it really doesn't suit this car, and the rubber band tires makes it just really horrible to drive, and it's so close to rubbing and bending the guards, which is not what you want. We do not want to be replacing the guards. But speaking of guards, the bodywork is actually in really good condition. You can see here the front over fenders, nice, no dents, no dings, no scratches. It is very dirty. We did drive it through, it was on a trailer when we went through the rain, but you can see here, all the body lines are there, no dents, nothing. You're probably wondering, this is a funky looking spoiler with no blade. That's because it did come with a spoiler. And then we sold it immediately because it was fully hectic JDM 2000s auto salon spec. So I get Morgan to throw some photos in of that one, but interestingly, it sold straight away, which is kind of cool. So what we are going to go with is, you can just get a remanufactured, it's not OEM, R33 GTR blade that sits in the top of these uprights. And then that way, yeah, we've got a spoiler. It'll be black, it'll match these little side parts here. So that should all look good and tie the back up. The only other part this car doesn't have is the hood. So the hood is missing. You can see nice RB25 here. Yeah, we have no hood. We have bought a hood. It is on its way, and it's a brand new OEM hood. And then we've got to send it to paint and color match to the paint that we got in the car. So externally, the car is going to be absolutely mint. You can see as well on the strut tops here, normally you get a little bit of corrosion, rust, that kind of thing. This is not the case with this car. I thoroughly went over it and have not been able to find any rust, which is really good because it's one of the biggest Achilles heels for this car. You can see here as well, it's quite dark, but there's the turbo down in there. And it is pulled apart, so we didn't get it like this. This is me being impatient. So at this point in the video, so we ripped the starter motor out because it wasn't starting. We bench tested it and turned out it's just a completely dead starter. So we went to a good mate of ours who was selling our R33 starter, picked that up, chucked it in, boom, straight away. Now, car now starts. So we already made an improvement there. The car starts, which is good. Runs pretty good, but then it's got kind of like an inconsistent running. Sometimes it just wants to die, and other times it runs perfect, which is quite annoying and diagnosing. So I've yeah, pretty much taken apart. You can see here all of the piping, and up there the entire intercooler system has been taken apart because it did sound like we had a few leaks. Annoyingly as well, I don't know where it is, it's this pipe here. So this is your normal J pipe. Pipes come out of there, comes round, and then goes down that way. For some reason though, the person who had this car before bought a 3-inch system, which you can see here, it's just far too big and it doesn't actually sit down nice. So even when we get a hood, I don't think it'll actually shut. So we've gone ahead and bought a new piping kit for the car that will make it all work. It'll fit. We'll know that, yeah, there's no leaks. Apologies, Morgan's probably cringing at my filming because you're looking at my chin. But yeah, so apart from that, this is as far as I've got. I have taken out the coil packs. So we'll probably do a more in-depth episode on everything mechanical with the car. It is looking like unfortunately, we're really good at taking SR gearboxes out, but it is looking like we're gonna have to take the RB gearbox out to replace the throwout bearing because it's making quite a bit of noise and chatter, which is not that great. So that's something we are going to have to do, which is not expensive, but it's annoying to do. So yeah, that's a bit of the outside, a bit of the mechanical. You've seen the wheels. We'll go on to the inside. And it's pretty much the same story as the outside for the most part. So the interior, it's pretty much 100% bog standard with the exception of this fully hectic plastic crystal shifter. We've got an OEM steering wheel here. It has been retrimmed, so we will have, or they put a, what do you call it? A steering wheel cover over it. It does look like, yeah, it's completely cracked and buggered. So maybe we do an aftermarket steering wheel like we did on my 180. We've got new, it's definitely not factory, but aftermarket leather steering bush with red stitching. I actually quite like it. They've also bought it for the handbrake. One thing we are probably going to have to replace is this big plastic thing here. It's just got, you can see here, just, well, it's a reflection of the GoPro, but it's got like some weird paint looking things. We've got stuff there. So I think they've like attempted to paint this in the car, which is kind of odd. But there's also like paint and stuff over the clock, or the cover for the clock. So you can't really see that. So that's probably something I have to do. And you can see here, like this has just been snapped and glued. And If you have a look here, the car has only done 147,000 Ks, which is really low. And the rest of the car is just pretty much, I've disconnected the battery, but it's pretty much just bog standard Skyline. Can't really see too much, but yes, so it's quite good. And you can see here the rear tint, we are gonna have to get that redone just because it is looking quite crappy. But yeah, that's a bit of a walk around with the Skyline. The radio, when the car was running, the radio did not work. So that's something we're gonna have to look at. And also the windows, up and down, didn't work. However, the auto lock did. So that is something we're gonna have to look at. I don't think there's something wrong with the windows because, or like there's anything wrong with the motors or anything, because both the passenger side and driver side, both were just dead. They weren't going up or down. So I think it could be something fuse related. Hopefully it could be something fuse related, as well as the stereo. But yeah, apart from that, everything works. So that is our Series 1 Nissan Skyline R33 GTST. It's quite a long title now that I actually think about it, and I've said it about 7 times. But we are very happy with the car. Cosmetically, it's in perfect condition. We just need that hood, which will be brand new and painted, so that will complete the outside, as well as the new spoiler. So the outside is mint. The wheels we could sell with the current wheels and tires, because the tires are actually in good condition. They have good tread. It's just more so we don't think they look great, and we think they actually detract from the car's value. So it will be something we're looking at changing. We do have the budget for it if Morgan sells his MX-5, which MX-5, Morgan still hasn't sold his MX-5, and we have managed to, just off the back of my hard and laborious work by the Skyline Morgan's heavily rolling his eyes behind the camera, but we've managed to pick this up with just the funds from me selling my MX-5 and what we had left over, which is absolutely amazing. We are running thin. Now that we've bought a hood, we've bought an intercooler system, we bought the spoiler, we're getting down there, but we've still got some more money. We can still probably buy some trim pieces for the engine bay and a few bits and bobs that we're going to need along the way. So that's not much of a concern. It'll only be when we go to register the car. Hopefully Morgan sold his MX-5 by then, because we're probably going to need some of his funds. So that gives you kind of a ballpark as to what we paid for the car, kind of a little bit of an insight. But in terms of a sale point, it's got low Ks for a car that's 94, 28 years old. The bodywork has held up extremely well. Mechanically, that's really where our problems are going to be with this one. And Morgan and I are quite familiar with the Nissan range. This is Morgan's now second R33 GTST Skyline. And we do have a few friends that have got beasts of R33s. So if we run into any problems, it will definitely be hitting them up and asking for suggestions. But for the most part, I think it's been a really good buy. There's minimal wrong, and it's a car that is quite well loved and well received. So I think it's only positives from this. And then obviously when Morgan sells his MX-5, it's just, sky is the limit. We hit a bit of a rough patch, but we're coming home at the end of the year strong. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all things Project B, especially content on this R33 Skyline. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Let us know, is there anything we glossed over, anything we didn't mention in this video? We will be doing the underbody inspection. We're not trying to hide anything. There's no rust, the rails aren't bent, it hasn't been crashed. All of that we will be showing underneath. It is as flawless as it is on the outside, as well as the engine bay. So that will be coming. But if there's anything we missed, I can't think of anything at the moment. In the future, we'll probably be doing a bit more of mechanical episodes. So when that intercooler kit or the intercooler piping kit comes in, we'll throw that on the car, as well as diagnosing some of the noises and perhaps why it is not running 100%. But until then, we'll see you in the next Project B video. And that's bye from me and Silent Morgan behind the camera.